Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con for 2014 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me always is
Brad
and
James.
And this week's episode is brought to us by the wonderful flavor of Birdman Barbecue. Pick up Birdman Barbecue at your Denver area Ace Hardware stores, and hopefully it won't be sold out like when James went.
Yeah, that was a sad day.
It is sad, but it's good.
Yeah,
It's
everybody's
the sauce,
buying
baby.
some sauce. Yeah, it's good.
It is delish. You know what I like to do with it? I like to, when I have game days, because it's football season, I like to make some of those little weenie smoky wrap things, like little pig in the blankets. Get some of those, get some of the spicy barbecue, heat that up in a crock pot. Oh my gosh. Good stuff, guys.
Stop it, you're making me hungry.
Good stuff. Every week at the Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie. This week we went and saw The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. That girl is on fire. I don't want Alicia Keys to sue us for using that part of her song. We review the movie at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We talk if you should see the movie or not. We play the trailer, then we spoil the hell out of the movie. So if you want to see the movie, listen to if we say you should see it, and then just go see it, then listen to our review. We also talk about some comics we've been reading, movies we've been watching, some movie news, upcoming DVD releases and Blu-ray, fan mail, and what am I forgetting? Box office numbers.
I think that's it.
I got it, right?
What did we watch? You got that one?
Maybe. Hey, I did. After 2.5 years, I think I got this kind of locked down. I'm not sure yet, though. We'll see.
I'm hoping so.
And Brad's already leaving. Hey, Brad,
That was the worst intro ever, so I'm done.
Where's my drink? Fuck, is it by you?
Is it on top of your car?
No, I brought it in. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, I'll be parched the whole episode.
Yeah. That's all right. That's how I like you.
So, how's your week going, guys? Going okay?
Yeah, good.
Busy as usual.
Yeah, Brad, you're really busy.
Yeah.
You have freelance gigs.
That freelance gig last week took it out of me.
Yeah.
It's
Done with it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're probably showing it right now at their conference, but yeah, it was like work on our stuff, go to my real job, come home from that job, do that freelance work, come the next day, go to my real job, over and over again, just back and forth.
Yeah, it's tough.
Trying to squeeze trivia in there and
Yeah.
podcasting.
You're trying to squeeze in a real life, too?
Yeah, seeing movies.
Shame on you.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today we filmed.
Yeah.
Today we filmed episode 5 a little bit.
Yeah, episode
Most of
5. We just need to do
Well,
the
the
opening.
biggest chunk of it.
Yeah.
We just need to do the opening of
The
it.
hard
and we're
part,
good.
honestly.
Yeah.
And you can follow us on Twitter, and you can find out what's been happening with that and what special celebrity guest we have on that episode.
It's huge. Huge guest.
It is.
It's really cool, man.
Yeah.
It was so much fun today.
Who cares? It was Jonathan Tiersten. And we can finally play that interview we did with him at Mile High Horror, because in it we say that we can reveal that he's going to be on the Pod Show episode, and now that we filmed it, we can.
That is for sure.
Yeah, now it's for sure, and we can put it out.
Whether he likes it or not, he's in it.
Yeah. Yep. He's no turning back now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right away, I got to say how awesome he was for
Him and his whole family.
Yeah, his whole family. Because not only did they open up their house, he cooked us lunch.
Yeah.
Barbecue ribs and rice. And it was a good time.
Yeah, and I felt so bad because, it's their Saturday, and I'm sure they'd like to just hang out and be at home. But, of course, we sort of kicked them out of their house. But it was really cool.
It was lots of fun. So thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Micah.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. So stay tuned for that. But this Tuesday, the 29th. Nope, I always do that. It's the 26th.
26th, yeah.
We will be showing episode 4 will be debuting.
Finally.
Finally, episode 4 will be debuting at Open Screen Night at
It's only been 2 months, but it feels like it's been forever.
I know.
Yeah, that one took a while. That one was a hard one.
I think it's because there's such a long break between Open Screen Nights.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
we couldn't show it last month. There was no rush to get it done.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the last time we went from like May to July,
Yeah.
I think, for episode 2
Yep.
or August.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 2-month break. So
it's
we're no
good.
stranger to downtime, but still, it's just like when we conceived of this, early in the year, we should have been done by now.
Yeah,
So-
it just took longer than we thought, and then
And there's still one more episode to go.
Yeah, and we wanted to get our Blu-ray release of it out by January, but the Open Screen Nights, there's not enough
Yeah.
spots for us to show it because
Yeah.
there isn't. Because for some reason, the holidays, like Halloween, fell on Thursday, so they didn't think anybody would be there for a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then Christmas falls on a Wednesday, so no one's going to go out on Christmas Eve.
No one's going to be there for sure.
Yeah, so it's just really weird how it ended up working out.
So probably February. The 6th episode will debut, and then when I advertised the Blu-ray, I said end of January, so people can wait one more month.
And hey, wait one more month because we do have a boatload of special features.
Oh, it's going to be so stuffed with special features.
Man.
It's going to be great.
There's a how to make a photon pack in it. There's fake trailers for wolf raping. There's fake commercials for ghost trappers.
Yeah, then we're going to be commentary. There'll be interviews. There will be a hidden feature with Jonathan Tiersten playing with something. So
controversial.
It'll be lots of fun.
Yeah.
We promise if you purchase one, it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll enjoy it because we worked really hard on it.
And we're not really charging you for all the, like a lot of people did this for free. We're charging you for like the disc and the printing.
Yeah, we're not charging you because we're making money off of it.
Yeah.
It's just we have normal jobs and we don't have like endless funds where we can print and distribute these Blu-rays. So.
Yeah. Unless we get that intern.
Yeah. We're working on it.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being patient for season 1 of the Pod Show. Cool. Let's start the episode with fan mail, guys.
Fan mail!
Brad doesn't have his phone out, so I'll go ahead and do it this week.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It's all right. It's been a long day.
We
You've
didn't
been
get
working
any letters,
hard.
though. We just got tweets and Facebook messages.
Yeah. And again, we appreciate it.
No phone calls.
Being the nerds we are, and being fans of Rebecca Isaacs. Rebecca Isaacs, of course, illustrated Angel and Faith.
Oh, love that book.
It's a great book, and Christos Gage wrote it. We didn't hear too much from her.
Yeah, we heard about George Gianti taking over, leaving. Well, he told us he was leaving Buffy, and we were sad. And then we found out he was going to do Firefly, and I wasn't sad anymore.
Yeah.
So we knew there was this open space.
So we just happened to tweet out to Rebecca Isaacs.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, what's your plan? Because we miss your." She said, "You actually, what book are you doing next?" We're comping at the bit. I think you meant to put chomping at the bit.
Oh,
lousy autocorrect.
I'm only an English major. Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, it's and she's sent back Buffy season 10.
Oh, so excited!
She said she's done with 5 covers and she's starting to ink interiors on issue 2. The scripts and outlines are amazing. The thing I did not know about Isaac's art until I started researching it is she inks all her own stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why her art comes across so well.
Yeah.
She does a really good job with that. And
Christos Gage is writing it too,
which
is just like it's a dream team. Like because I've said it before. I think that the story they tell in Angel and Faith is one of the best season-long stories that was ever told in the Buffyverse. And so the fact that team is coming over to the Buffy book is great. So cool.
Yeah, and then Rebecca and Christos got in a back and forth and tweeted us about the art is pretty amazing too, and she said the writing's really good.
Yeah.
I have a funny story. I went to the Michael Bublé concert with my wife, and as I was walking through the corridor in Pepsi Center, Reggie from our fan buddy from podcast that we met at Denver Comic Con 2 years ago was walking there too. So it was kind of a weird coincidence that we ran into him. So yeah, thanks.
How's he doing? Doing well?
Good. Yeah, he got married to his lady.
Oh, congratulations!
So good for them. We're that's a good thing.
He didn't ask us to officiate it. What the fuck? Come on.
He should have sent in his proposal for the podcast.
Yeah,
that would be terrible. Don't do that.
Honey, listen to this podcast.
And
no,
Cora
I swear, eventually they'll get to
is
the good
finally paying attention to us again after a long time of just ignoring us. And I think it was something Brad said is what she said a long time ago.
Yeah.
I offended her?
I'm just kidding. You don't say anything on the podcast, so that was the joke.
Oh, okay. Well done. Touche.
I'm sure James is going to get an erection from this because anytime,
boing,
besides him stroking his own ego in episode 3, she went ahead and wrote this quote that says, "Shut up, Brad. It's a sausage fest in here." And And I'm the only one thing that can save us now. And she said epic. So go ahead, James. Go ahead. Toot your own horn about how great of a rider you are and how much weight you've lost and how good you look. And episode 3 is like, I'm going to pick up the chick. I look so good. I'm going to get Brad smacked by a lady. I'm going to make Ryan look like a dipshit. But for some reason, James looks like a champ in that one, doesn't he, Brad?
Yeah, you look like a buffoon.
I look like an idiot. Brad looks like a sexist asshole.
What?
Remember, you're like, hey, you speak English, and you get smacked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I might have shown my bias there a little.
I know. How come in every episode of our pod show I'm an asshole?
Because that's your character. You're the Master Shake of the group.
That's right. I'll take that because I love Master Shake.
Yeah. Remember when we first met Cora in real life, and she was like, I'm so happy you're not actually an asshole.
I know.
Wow. This isn't a documentary show. It's it's a live action cartoon.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a hyper reality.
Yeah.
And, it's all right. I've been called way worse.
And
I think
next episode, you're really an idiot.
Oh yeah, the next 2 episodes I'm a total dipshit.
Oh man.
It's funny. People can't see it; they won't be able to see it for a while. But there's a scene in it where I'm skipping, and I just look like the biggest dipshit in the world.
Yeah,
just totally out of tune, and it's gonna be funny. But I don't mind being stupid for sake of comedy.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It is because
we can't take ourselves too seriously.
And the one thing guys, as the seasoned actor of the group,
bullshit
that I'll let you know is if you don't fully commit to what you're doing, then it comes across as fake. So always if you're going to do something, go for it full blown.
That's what people said this week at the Emerging Filmmakers Project about episode 3. You guys didn't commit enough.
Really?
What?
No,
They
I'm
did
just
not.
kidding.
I was going to say, wow. I don't even have enough lines in it, so
Harsh.
what the fuck? I'm just kidding. Remember those paragraphs that James is like, I'm going to write these soliloquies that I want you to speak. And I was
10 minutes isn't enough for me to rag on Slash Film.
Yeah, this is stupid. I'm going to say stuff like asshole and cum stain. I don't say that in that episode.
No, you don't. I would never put those words
Anyways,
in your
thanks
mouth.
everybody for tweeting, liking, saying hi, seeing me at a Michael Bublé concert.
Was it the best thing about the Michael Bublé concert?
No, actually, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like, he put on a good show, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He did this thing where he was introducing his band, and it was a sports center kind of thing. And so they'd put up, like, the trumpet player, and his head would be spinning around, and it said hometown, draft position. And it was pretty funny. And he'd say stuff like, my trumpet players must have worked at Subway, because when I used to have a 6-inch, but when he plays, it goes all the way to a 12. So it's pretty funny. I did not know he was like that at all. I just thought he was, hey, I'm a singing guy. But
Did you say anything about, like, hey, does anyone remember me from duets?
he didn't. But I think that's what he felt in his heart.
Cool, yeah.
Cool. Thanks,
Cool.
everybody.
Yeah.
Brad, what are we doing next?
Let's see. Why don't we knock out the little things like box office stats or DVD releases?
God, you say that every week, and it's like, we need to change it, but you want to do the same. Here's
I'm sorry.
Box office stats, asshole. Box office stats.
This is the box office stats.
Thor repeated.
Yeah.
No big surprise.
Not surprising.
$36 million in its second weekend. That's a good.
What
The
did we
big
see last
surprise. Well, what we saw last week was 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, I didn't see
which
anything.
came in at 8 last week.
The big surprise is, guys, we didn't go see The Best Man's Holiday,
Yeah,
but it did $30 million.
It almost took down Thor.
pretty much got greenlit for a sequel already.
Mm-hmm. And
Best
maybe
Man Holidays 2.
Then when Terrence Howard is in it, maybe he can blame one of the cast members for him not being in it.
He could call up Robert Downey Jr. and give Robert Downey Jr. that big break in Best Man Holiday 2 Electric Boogaloo
Right.
that RDJ has been waiting for.
I'm the reason Robert Downey Jr. got Iron Man. What?
Yeah.
I wish Jon Favreau came out and would have said, "Dude, what the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But
No,
Favreau's way too nice.
he's too classy. He's not gonna get into that kind of shit.
I would. If I was in Hollywood, I'd be a dick. Then I would never work again.
You'd fit in.
And this is the stuff that's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD this week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Aw, shit, Red 2. Your parents keep on trying to get us to watch those movies. I don't know why we don't.
I know.
Did you watch them yet?
Now that they're out, no. But now that this one's out, I'm gonna probably in the next week or two. I'll go see the first one because I still haven't seen the first one. So I can see that one, and then I'll see this one, and then I'll come back and say whether or not I think they're actually worth it. But they're not the only people who have told me those movies.
Oh no,
are
I
fun.
heard they're pretty good.
Not brilliant, just fun, and
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Every once in a while, you need a movie like that.
Yeah,
you can't be serious all the time.
Absolutely. The big release this week is that the full collection of Breaking Bad comes out. Well, the final season comes out this week, as well as like the big
complete
Meth
series.
Drum
Yeah.
complete series.
Yeah, the complete
edition.
series setup's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass looking.
I still want
Crazy
something that
expensive,
sits on my shelf as as a library, not so much like a
Like a
knick-knack.
box.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully they'll release that too.
Yeah, I'm not huge into like the fancy.
I'm not either. I just think they look
Releases.
cool. Like, I would never
Yeah.
spend the extra money on the Walking Dead ones, but they had the zombie with a screwdriver in its
Yeah.
head. But I mean, they look cool.
Yeah.
They're the kind of thing like I want friends who have them so I can see them. You know,
Yeah.
like Bree has that one with the with the
Yeah, yeah,
screwdriver, and it's awesome. But it's more of a shelf thing. Like, now I say that I would want the Lost one.
Yeah.
You know, for shows like that I really adore, especially because that one's got
That
cool stuff.
trapezoid thing?
Um,
Half pyramid?
Yeah. The little
Eileen
half
has
pyramid.
that.
Oh man, it's got a disc hidden in there where you can separate this like the seams in the paper around the edge, and there's a hidden disc inside that case, like shit like that. But it's it's my favorite series of all time.
I
That's
didn't know,
different.
I was talking to Bree this week, and I didn't know he wanted to see 12 Years a Slave with us.
Oh shoot!
I didn't know.
Oh man,
Nice, guys. Nice.
Well, it's one of those things where I didn't think anybody wanted to see that movie with us, so it was kind of just a
yeah. Well, and that was just on a whim. That wasn't originally supposed to be
Yeah.
our movie of the week.
Yeah,
but-
and Brad was so busy with his freelancing thing that we, I told him, and when I was talking, he says, "Yeah, we kind of just went. We didn't even think anything of it."
yeah. It
So
was
sorry,
not
Bree. You're always welcome to join us on any other movie,
unless we don't tell you.
unless we don't tell you like dickheads.
Yeah. Jobs, the Ashton Kutcher one, comes out this week. So if you missed
I heard that movie's not very good.
Yeah, there were even like whole panels where they had Steve Wiebe, or not Steve Wiebe, Steve Wozniak. Steve Wiebe came on just for no reason, just to
He said,
just talk
first
about
I
video
conquered
games.
Kong, and now I'm going to tell you what a piece
Hey,
of
guys, I
shit
have a new
Jobs
score.
is.
Yeah. No, Wozniak was like on interviews and stuff talking about how inaccurate it was and things like that. And it's a shame.
Isn't that based off his autobiography?
I
Or a
think
biography?
that one's not. Yeah, I think that one is based off of a biography. The one based off of his autobiography, or his, the biography that was written by that guy who was like interviewing him for the last few years. That's the one that. Oh wow, Social Network. Oh my gosh,
Fincher?
No, the writer. Oh my god,
Sorkin?
Sorkin. That's the one that Sorkin.
Your
is
favorite writer? You can't remember his name?
writing. He's not necessarily my favorite writer. I just like his dialogue.
A tease for season 2 of Pod Show. There's going to be an episode where me and James are walking down a hall and having dialogue. It's
For
going
10
to
minutes
be
straight.
called the Sorkin.
No, bad.
Oh man.
No, it's called Sork My Balls.
Ethan Hawke's Getaway
Nice.
with Selena Gomez comes out this week. There was a week we could have seen that instead. I think we saw Two Guns or something. I think
it
that's
was
the
in
week.
theaters for a day. I was sick.
Yeah. And then finally, the Blu-ray of The Canyons.
There's nothing really coming out.
Starring
That's
Lindsay
good.
Lohan.
I need a week off
Yeah.
of buying shit because, like, December 3rd, I'm going to buy shitloads.
Yeah. Wait, why? What's December 3rd?
It's the Wolverine,
Oh, yeah.
Mary Poppins, and a couple other
I
ones.
think I'll buy the Wolverine just because I think the Blu-ray is cool looking. Like, that poster design is just pretty
Yeah.
good.
And it's 12 minutes longer.
Yeah, that's true. There's reports out there saying that this is like the most gruesome, edgy Marvel movie, period.
I liked it. How much did I like it? Stay tuned for Film Explosion 2013.
No, I can't believe it.
How do you know? Maybe.
I can't believe it.
You know what? I like the Hunger Games last year, and you guys are like, hey, what a piece of shit, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that's
Ryan,
right.
there,
That's
you're a
right.
piece of shit.
You pull some pieces of shit up.
I know. It's nothing like Avatar, but close.
You have bad taste.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Anyway, that's this week.
Cool.
There's also like porn.
thanks, Digital Bits.
Thanks, Digital Bits. Hey, I wonder what's happening in the movie news world.
It's real news.
just some quick things. We got a trailer for Darren Aronofsky's Noah. Did you guys watch it?
No.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah. What's weird is like the comic and everything I know about the comic. I haven't read it, but everything I've seen about the comic is like Noah fighting giants. And
Are you sure that's Aronofsky's one?
yes,
Because I was reading that he was going off the Bible.
yeah, that's what's weird. Is I started watching this trailer and I'm like, this is the Bible. Like what? Like that's not what I was expecting. So it seems weird from Aronofsky.
The arc looks cool.
I think the movie looks pretty. But I don't know.
We'll see.
He's gonna have to bring something to that story that doesn't feel like Sunday school.
One of my favorite stupid video games that my neighbor had when I was a kid. She had this game called Bible Games, and it wasn't licensed by Nintendo. It was in one of those. Do you remember the 10-gen games that were black and they didn't?
Yeah, they had the wedged grip part.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. But in it, you were Noah, and you had to run around the level and pick up 2 of every animal and throw them back in your ark. That was fun.
I had a Game Boy game called Joshua that I bought from a Bible store when I was a kid, and it was clearly not a legal Game Boy game, really, because the cartridge, it was not a Game Boy game cartridge. To the extent that at the bottom of the card, it stuck out of your Game Boy real big, and at the bottom of the cartridge, the actual card itself was just sticking out. Like it wasn't protected at all, and so it was awkward to put into the thing. And
Was
then,
it a good game?
Not really. I would beat like 4 levels of it, and it was
What would
one
you
of
do
those.
in it?
It was one of those games where like your enemies are. It's like a whole bunch of blocks, and there's pathways in the blocks, and you can make pathways in the blocks to get to things. But your enemies are also in like openings, and so if you dig out and free them, then you've got to fight them. So you've got to like do things like dig out stones and drop stones on their heads and crush them instead.
So it's Dig Dug.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it was Dig Dug, except that sometimes you'd get a horn and all your enemies would die because you're Joshua.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah. Lousy religion.
The Hobbit movie that we're getting after The Hobbit is going to be a biography about Tolkien, which I'm actually kind of interested in because nobody does a lot on him. Hopefully it's as good as like, what's that movie? The Shadowlands. There's a biography about C.S. Lewis called Shadowlands with Anthony Hopkins. It's pretty good. Huge rumors this week that they are going to make a sequel to It's a Wonderful Life, which of course everybody immediately was like, fuck! And then of course Paramount was like, no, we're talking about it. Cool your jets.
Really? Did you read that article?
This one?
Yeah.
The Variety one?
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
No, because Paramount owns the rights to that, and they said, fuck you, guy who's trying to make it. You're not making a sequel to this movie, is what they said.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, they said, fuck you. You can't make this movie. We own the rights to it.
That's right. I forgot that.
And they said, we're going to block every attempt you are going to do to make this movie, and we'll sue the shit out of you. So,
that's good.
Yeah, because what are you making a sequel for that movie for?
Yeah. No. There's no reason.
There was no reason.
Yeah.
It's like making one for the Wizard
Apparently
of
they
Oz.
had an amazing idea of Jimmy Stewart's kids going through the same thing, 40 years later.
Mm-hmm.
That was their idea for the plot.
Was it really?
Is that
That's
an
why
amazing
I
idea?
read. Huh?
Is that an amazing
It
idea?
was sarcastic.
Okay, good. Whew.
I should hope so. You're laying on pretty thick. This guy doesn't know what's going on.
The Netflix actually did pick up The Killing this time, so The Killing has died 3 times, and still won't die. Terry Gilliam, for the 7th time, is going to start trying to make The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Will this actually be the time he's successful? Who knows? I would like to see that movie. Like, at this point, simply out of curiosity to see like what it is about this idea that has haunted him for his entire career. Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark is going to shut down in January. So
yeah, I heard it makes $1 million a week in box office, but it costs $1.2 million a week to run.
Wow,
yeah,
man, $1.2 million
Why is it
for
so
a
expensive
stage
to
show.
fucking run?
I don't know. It's got to be that there's just a lot of people like to run the gimbals and whatever all that shit is.
I mean,
Liability.
Yeah.
insurance,
How many times they break an actor's leg?
How many lawsuits they still have to pay for?
Yeah, man. And then very last thing, and this, I still don't know that I believe this, but AMC is genuinely making an effort to bring Preacher to make a TV show out of Preacher.
Which one where they're using Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah. So Seth Rogen is somehow involved, maybe in a producing way, maybe not, or maybe in an actual acting way. I don't know.
Hopefully in a Green Hornet way.
I don't know. I don't even know what character he could play in that
The funny guy.
book.
Always a funny guy.
Yeah, but the funny guy is I don't know that it would work, but
Otherwise gonna need a
Preacher
fat
is.
friend.
This honestly feels like they're looking at The Walking Dead and saying, "Oh, the reason that people are watching The Walking Dead and enjoying it is because it is so out there and crazy, and we're showing people stuff they don't believe they can see on TV." I mean, The Walking Dead this week was one where I saw some stuff and I was like, "Oh shit! You can't show it. How can you show this on TV?" Again, they keep surprising
the
me.
zombie's head off backwards. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly that one. Preacher. If they actually do the shit that's in Preacher, I don't even know that I'm okay with saying that. I don't know that I want to see this shit on TV. Because it's fucked up and crazy and weird and out there. I don't believe this is going to happen. You guys haven't read Preacher, right?
No.
So Preacher's about basically like a half angel, half demon, gets into this preacher from Texas, and it gives him some powers. The biggest of which is that he has the ability to overcome somebody's willpower, so he can say something to somebody and they have to do it, which has some horrible ramifications. And then basically, and God is on vacation. So God's gone on vacation, and Jesse, the preacher, goes looking for God with his girlfriend and vampire dude friend. And crazy batshit things happen. There's a dude who makes women out of meat. They meet the farthest descendant of Jesus, who has been so inbred that he's just super retarded. And there's these super fat guys, and it's just really out there and weird. And man, there would be riots in the street if families watched that on TV.
They've adapted all the comics by now, right?
No.
There's nothing else to draw from comic-wise? All the comics have been turned into entertainment?
Nope. Very, very far from it. We still don't have a Preacher, and they've been trying to do that for a long time. We still don't have a Lock and Key, a Why the Last Man.
I think an I Kill Giants would be a great movie.
Oh, man. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Joe Kelly, if you're listening.
Let me write the script.
Joe Kelly's like, fuck you, I'm writing this script.
I know, right? Why would I give you any money to do my job? Yeah, no, there's a lot out there. This one I think is just so flashy and very popular, because it's also the book that in the comic world it sort of proved that you could really do horror comics, good horror comics, because usually horror comics end up being real junky.
Yeah.
They tend to just
There's a very few that stick out that do very well.
Yeah, they end up sort of being slapsticky. So this was a book where they really did shit that was just fucking weird and scary, and but it's good. I really love the series.
Maybe they can pull it off.
Yeah, I would hope so. Actually, because I do like the story that they tell. It's just hard to watch. So anyway, that's news.
Well, there's a couple other things you missed.
Yeah.
Sony is mining the Spider-Man characters to make spin-off movies.
Yeah.
The most popular one is they're going to make a Venom solo movie, which I don't think they should. There's a couple other characters in Spider-Man canon that would work better.
They've been talking about this, especially the Venom thing. They've been talking about for a while, and
Amy Pascal, who's the chairman of Sony, said, "Yeah, why wouldn't we use Spider-Man's?" But I don't know how far the web stretches for characters they can use. I don't know if there's some characters that fall in that in between. You know what I mean? They can be in X-Men and can be in Avengers.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think it's something where the truth is, when you reach out beyond Spider-Man in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery and such, I don't know that there's a lot of stuff that could carry a movie.
The only thing I think that would actually work in Spider-Man world is if they did a frontline one where it's the reporters who are reporting on the supervillains and the heroes, which I think would be cool if there was an investigator, an investigative reporter Ben Urich or something, I think would work pretty well.
Oh yeah, that would be cool, dude. If Fox did like a Daily Planet show where your main character was like, a Clark Kentish sort of writer, and then J.J. Jameson was in every episode, like that would be,
Yeah,
I don't know that
something
show
like
would be good, but at least that's a take they could go on it. But if they just said like, oh, we're gonna make a Venom movie, we're gonna make a fucking Doc Ock movie, or
The Shocker.
we're gonna make a movie about yeah, absolutely the Shocker. Because some of the other like characters, the Black Cat,
Oh, you can make one with the Black Cat.
yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Some of the other characters like the Black Cat or the Punisher, things like that are they sort of walk that line between also being heroes or where they could actually carry a book, not being straight up villains. They've already been done. The Punisher's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Rider's been done.
I guess Black Cat would probably work.
Yeah, you could do Black Cat.
And also too it's been all over. It was on Variety, it was on Movie Phone and Slash Film. Is Warner Brothers registered a bunch of names?
Oh, that's right.
For Superman, Batman, and everyone says, "Oh, these names are so stupid." I don't think they're the actual names of the movie. I think they bought these websites so no one could buy the websites.
Yeah.
And piggyback off of the success of the movie.
Oh yeah, they do that all
because
the time.
some of them don't even make any sense. It's like
they focus on blackness and nightness.
Yeah. So I think it's just because they're trying to, so people don't say Superman, Batman, the darkest of nights, or whatever those dorky ones are.
Well, and they test all these names all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing you do is when you start talking about names in small rooms, one of the first things you do is you go get the websites for them.
Oh yeah.
Are we ever going to see any of those stupid titles for Amazing Spider-Man 2? No. Probably not. But I bet they own all the websites for them.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those like, it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, okay, we can talk about this, but one of those names is so much like Into Darkness.
Yeah.
That you're like, no, last year we had a Star Trek movie with the same subtitle. Like, you can't use that.
I don't know just why they just don't call it Superman, Batman.
Yeah.
With a slash in it.
The world's finest.
The world's finest.
Superman versus Batman. Batman versus Superman. You've got so many options.
Krypton versus Gotham.
Batman of Steel.
That one's the best.
That's probably one of the actual names.
One of the registered. One that they registered. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man of Bat.
Yeah. Steel of Bat.
Night of Steel. Cool.
Tomorrow of Night.
Oh, the Men of Tomorrow. That'd be cool.
Mm.
It doesn't take place in the future.
Clash of Titans. Oh no, that's
Supermen of Tomorrow's Night. Getting worse and worse.
Yeah, this is. Why are we in Warner Brothers War Room thinking up these names?
Yeah, why are we registering domain names for them?
Let's try and beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Also, here's the other reason you register domain names like that. Hey, it's been 4 weeks since we talked about Superman, Batman, and now we're talking about it again. Like,
yeah,
Speaking of comic book characters,
people aren't dumb.
You want to talk about comic books?
Yeah, we can do that. It's James this week.
No, it's not. I talked about Captain America last week.
No, you didn't.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
I mean, I'm gonna do this again in a month anyway. But fuck you guys. Lock and Key's on his last 2 issues, and I still adore this series. And Lock and Key Alpha #1 is actually like, it's effectively the end of the series as far as all of the drama and action is concerned. And Lock and Key's about this house where there are all these magical keys, and if you put the right key in the right door, it does something magical, basically. And there are all kinds of things, from you can turn into a ghost, or you can sort of go back in time and watch the way history was performed, or you can, trap people in certain things. You can change your sex, you can change what you look like, things like that. And it's really, I look over how much has changed and how far these characters have come in, let's see, 6 books. So that's 34 issues, somewhere around there. It's unbelievable. The dramatic heights that he gets to, that Joe Hill, who's the writer, gets to in this last issue, second to last issue, it's really good. And watching how well he planned out this whole arc, it's why I love comics. Because even on TV, where you can do these long story arcs, it's really hard to execute them as perfectly as you can in comics. Where you can really pay attention to the details and get everything exactly the way you want it to. And this book feels that way. Lock and Key feels like a perfectly executed idea, and it's just so much fun to read. So
it is. I love when you gave me the trades. They're so well drawn too.
Gabriel Rodriguez is one of my favorite artists now.
See, that's a horror comic done really well.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's the thing. I was terrified because it's a series that is coming to an end. They can kill anyone they want to. And while I knew that there were certain characters that had certain ways out, the way that it all ties up is great. And I was afraid. There are moments where characters they've killed plenty of people at this point, and characters are in some deep shit. And I was just like, oh man, Joe Hill, what are you gonna do to me? But I'm very happy with where it's going, and I'm really excited. What I kind of like is that he's wrapped all that stuff up, and there's a whole nother issue coming. So I'm really excited to see what's in that issue and how he's going to tie up the emotional beats.
Do you have the single issues or you just have the trades?
I have the single issues. I have every single issue since the end of the second trade, I think. And then I'm going to go back and get
I know
all
the
my
early
issues
ones are hard to find.
They are.
I was at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics where you can pick up Lock and Key in your hold slot and get 20% off when it's released.
Yeah.
And guarantee seeing the end of it. They have the first issue, and Coins, Cards, and Comics, they sell their comics pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You can get it there, James, for $30.
No fucking way. Let's go tomorrow.
Okay. They're closed on Sundays.
Damn it.
But you know where it's at? It's not in his normal display case. He has a case kind of against the back wall, and it has a bunch of Infinity Gauntlet books and like recent books. Well, I guess Infinity Gauntlet's not that recent, but I guess in comic book world it's recent. But he has hard to find books, and I saw Lock and Key there, and I thought of you.
Man, my wish list for DCC next year, he's probably at the top of it. Joe Hill is probably at the top of it. I would love to get a chance to see him and talk to him and hear him talk about Lock and Key.
Well, they announced a guy who played Chekhov. Interested to see that. What's that guy's name?
Walter Koenig.
Mm-hmm. He's there.
Oh, really? I didn't see that announcement.
And then Michael Rooker. The Rook.
Michael Rooker, yeah.
Dude. That's
and
cool.
A bunch of Power Rangers.
Yeah. Is that popular again?
Oh, yeah.
It's
like the My Little Pony thing. I have no idea. Stan, who did our wonderful zombie art for us.
Yeah, Stan Yan.
Yeah, he talks about that he does the brony stuff all the time.
Yeah. It's so, I just don't get it.
I don't get it. But you know what? It's for somebody. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado. Mm-hmm. Check them out. They have it.
And they've got the trades of Lock and Key, which you'll get a discount on, plus they've got some of the old issues there.
And if you can't find him, just say hi to Andrew. He's always in the back comic book area. He'll find it for you.
Yeah.
He's on the lookout for me. I'm trying to... I told him if he's ever seen... One of the comics I really want to get that's hard to find is the issue before Gwen Stacy dies. Yeah, Spider-Man fights the Hulk in it. And I asked him last time I was there, I says, have you ever seen this issue?
Is it just one that, like, because it's followed by one of the biggest issues that
exactly.
Nobody cares about that issue?
Andrew, I said, have you... Because I've seen screenshots of it. I've never physically held it. I've never seen it anywhere. And so I'm interested to get it. I don't know if it's a great issue or... I mean, the cover's really cool. He's fighting the Hulk on it.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it's because it precedes such a major event that it's kind of a forgotten comic, because he told me that near mint it was $160.
Wow.
So he said, probably if he got one, it'd probably be $30, $40 because it's not going to be a near mint quality one.
Right.
But so it's just interesting. So I hope he finds one for me, and then he remembers that I want it. I'm sure he will.
I hope he makes a point to not sell that Lock and Key till I can get up there. Because that's a good price on Lock and Key 1, man.
Cool. I guess it's time to talk about things we watched this week.
Yeah.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I'm looking forward to talking about them and listening to what you guys have to say through my amazing Tweaked Audio earbuds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you can log on to tweakedaudio.com, and when you're logging out and buying product, type in Real Nerds in the promo code, and you'll get a third off your whole order. REELNERDS, and we'll sound fucking amazing. So make sure that you get those from tweakedaudioearbuds.com. I love my natural volume 3, or version 3.
Version 3.
Version 3. Volume wouldn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
So thank you, Tweaked Audio. Awesome. So I saw a few things this week. I'm trying to catch up on movies I've wanted to watch.
From this year?
From this year. And the first movie I watched was Grown Ups 2.
Really?
I actually bought it. I was at Walmart getting stuff for work, and they had a Grown Ups 1 and Grown Ups 2 and a 2-pack, and it was $20. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, who cares?
Have you seen Grown Ups 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing with those movies is I think they're funny, but I don't know what the real plot of the movies are. It seems to me watching them, it's Adam Sandler and his friends hanging out and just riffing on each other.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Is there Ocean's 11?
Yeah, there you go. Basically.
No. Oh, that's so unfair towards Ocean's 11.
That's right. Grown Ups isn't a remake.
Yeah. So the first one is about Adam Sandler's character is this hotshot Hollywood agent, and his wife is Selma Hayek, and she's a fashion designer. And they grew out of touch with their childhood, and their basketball coach passed away, and they all get back together and just reminisce about the old days. It has Chris Rock, David Spade, why is his name? Paul Blart. I can't remember.
Kevin James.
Kevin James and Rob Schneider are all in it. And they all have their own little quirky characters. I think David Spade's always really funny because he plays a sarcastic kind of butthole. And so the second one picks up, and Adam Sandler's moved back to his hometown, and he gave up being a Hollywood agent. And the movie's actually pretty funny. I don't know why people... I like Adam Sandler, and I don't know why people have such a problem with his movies. I mean, there are some stupid things. It does open with him being urinated on by a deer, which is lame. But once you get past that, when it's his friends hanging out together, it's really funny. Nick Swartzen is in it, and he plays the bus driver, and he's all high on ecstasy. And so he stops by Adam Sandler's house, and he's like, "I'm here to pick up your kids!" So Adam Sandler ends up driving the bus, but he passes out in the bus, and he's like, "Hey, watch this!" And he stops on the brakes, and you just see his slide all the way back and hit his head against the wall. It's stupid shit like that, and it's really funny. But what was really odd about the movie is Rob Schneider is not in it, and they don't mention what happened to him or where he went. Oh. So I don't know if there was like a falling out with Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler.
Well, he's probably too busy doing a sitcom, but it's weird they didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah. It's really bizarre that he's just gone. And then David Spade meets his son for the first time. His son is 16 years old, or 13 to 16, I forget what they say, but he thinks he's going to be this little kid, and so he has this teddy bear, and he gets off the bus, and he's all tatted up, and he has a mustache, and he looks like David Spade, but like a kid version of him. And it's pretty funny, and he cuts the head off his teddy bear, and you just have to watch it. David Spade's really funny in it. But the best part is Taylor Lautner plays this frat guy who starts a fight with Adam Sandler and all his friends, and they have this really stupid handshake. And Adam Sandler and his friends don't get why they're such douchebags. But the guys play being douchebags really funny, like all the frat guys you've seen in your life. So it's pretty funny. And then they have this war at the end, and, it's harmless. I liked it.
Cool.
I have fun watching those movies.
Do you think, douche frat guys, ever go to movies and then see themselves
they probably
in
do
those movies?
Hey, that's not like me. What's going on?
Or they just laugh at it, those guys are hilarious.
Yeah. That's exaggerated versions of ourselves. So, yeah, I had fun with that one. I also watched The Purge, which is an Ethan Hawke movie, produced by the guy named Jeremy Blum, who is a genius when it comes to making low-budget horror movies. He does Paranormal Activity, Insidious, The Conjuring. He did Sinister. He does all those kind of movies where he has the movies budgets like $4 or $5 million, and they end up making like $90 million.
He's the producer on all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So he finds the projects, and he, puts up the money for them, and then he promotes them and helps them get off the ground. The Purge, if you don't remember, is one day a year, all crime is legal in America. And by doing this, it says crime rates dropped below 1%, and because everybody can get their yayas off for one day. And Ethan Hawke plays a security guy who installs security in houses around his block, and he makes lots of money doing it. And so he's the guy behind, the windows or the blinds go down or whatever. And the movie, I don't know, it's not scary. It's not really that suspenseful. The characters make really stupid choices in it. And I know that sounds stupid saying in a horror movie, but
No.
I still like some I don't know. I wanted it to be somewhat not dumb.
Yeah, you've got to sell that stuff.
Yeah, I forgive some stuff. And in it, I mean, his son, I understand what his son's saying. He doesn't understand why it's okay to kill people. And that's the big message. It says, why is it okay to kill people, and why is it okay for one day? Even if it gets it off your chest and you're doing it for one day, why is it okay? And so his son lets in this black guy who is being terrorized by these people who just want to kill him because he's homeless, and he doesn't. They call him like a homeless pig, and that's why they're going to kill him. But the subplot is his daughter her boyfriend sneaks into her house for the purge, and Ethan Hawke doesn't like her boyfriend because her boyfriend is older than her, and so he tries to kill Ethan Hawke, and then Ethan Hawke ends up killing the kid, and instead of the girl staying with the family, she runs away in the house while these other guys are trying to break in and kill them. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you just don't stay together. And yeah. And I mean, there's some okay parts in it. I don't know. It's just whatever. It's one of those movies when I watch and it's like, I guess this was an hour and 20 minutes. I'll never get back.
I thought I had heard good things about it, but
I can see why some people like it. I mean, there's some cool shots in it. There's a really awesome shot of Lena Headey is his wife, and she's walking through a house, and one of the masked people jump in behind her and kind of stalks her throughout the house, which is kind of cool. Other than that,
it seemed to me like a lot of it was just that premise that seemed original enough that people liked it.
Yeah, it was whatever. I don't know. There's a cool scene where he sticks an axe in some chick's stomach, though. Whatever. And the last thing I watched is Empire State with with Liam Neeson, Liam Hemsworth, Emma Roberts, and The Rock.
Yeah.
The poster sells it as this huge rock vehicle where The Rock's front and center, and it has the Rock pose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the fifth movie that The Rock was in this year.
I was more interested in it when I was at Redbox, and I didn't know what to get. And I know it was on Netflix, so I could have watched it for free, but what sold me on it is I was reading the description of it. And the guy who directed it also directed A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, which is a movie I kind of enjoyed with Robert Downey Jr. because the performances of him and Channing Tatum were really good in it. So I said, you know what, I'll check it out because it's actually based on a true story. So the story is Liam Hemsworth's character Chris is he wants to be a cop, but his friend was busted for drugs, and he lied and said his name was Liam Hemsworth's character's name, and this was in the 70s, so they didn't have a way to check it, so he couldn't be a police officer, so he takes a job as a security guard for armored trucks, and on his third day, his partner gets murdered, and then so he's put on duty at their warehouse or their building where they drop off the money. While he's there, he realizes that the way the cameras are focusing on the money is there's a whole part of the section of the vault, I don't even know what you'd call it, where you can get money and you couldn't even see it on camera.
Yeah.
And so he steals $25,000 and they don't even notice because they don't even count the money. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But he has a skee-ball friend who decides he wants to rob it more. The Rock plays NYPD detective who is assigned to the case when his partner is murdered and then the money's taken from the warehouse. The Rock's in it for maybe 10 minutes.
No way.
Yeah, and he always has just the scenes where he says, this is bullshit. Go check this out. And he does have a really cool...
So he's like the police captain.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
He does have this great scene where Liam Hemsworth comes in because there's a section where there's a shootout and Liam Hemsworth kind of saves The Rock's life. And The Rock is interviewing him because he knows something's not right. Because he obviously helped his friend steal this money, and he's playing stupid. So The Rock has this great interrogation scene with him, but that's about it. And the movie is meh. Nothing really exciting happens. It's like your typical heist movie, and whatever.
That's too bad, because not that it's a straight to DVD movie. I certainly never expected it to be great.
Actually, it's not. It opened in 5 theaters.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, because the first I saw of it was 5 theaters is hardly.
Because I did research on it, and it opened in New York and L.A. or something. It's a really small movie.
Yeah,
you can tell it doesn't have a big budget, and I think that's too why The Rock's only in it for a little bit. Emma Roberts is only in it for a little bit.
But the fact that he is the poster, The Rock.
Yeah,
that's really crazy.
So it was Yeah, I'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah.
Of all the Rock's movies this year, it's probably the least one I liked.
I'm still going to watch it just so I can say I saw all 5 movies that The Rock did this year.
You said it's on Netflix. I mean, it's
on Netflix for free. I mean,
it's not a terrible movie, and it's you can get by and watching it and have fun.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
That's what I watched this week. What'd you guys watch?
Brad, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Not a lot. I went and saw Terminator 2 at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Is that good?
You know what? A little disappointed. Yeah. First time I seen it, people said it was great. It's not that great. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it's a classic. I forgot to ask them. It seemed like their print was actual film.
Oh, cool.
It was really fuzzy. But yeah, it's
fuzzy like out of focus, or fuzzy like there was just grain.
It was as if they blew it up larger than it was supposed to be. So I don't know if it was like maybe. I can't imagine it was a DVD print that they projected on a 4K or something, but
yeah,
it just didn't seem as crisp, as say some other movies might be. Say a Blu-ray, at that size. I don't know. It just didn't.
Because when we saw To Kill a Mockingbird, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, so I was confused. Like you guys said, it was so.
Yeah, but we saw Jason X. It didn't look that good either.
Yeah, it was washed out and stuff. But anyway, didn't really take away from the.
American Graffiti looked good.
Yeah.
So, it's got to just be the copy of the stuff. I'm sure it's not the quality of work that Alamo's putting in.
Insignificant to the overall thing. Like, the movie's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it is mostly just, like, Cameron going back and being able to do, like, a bigger budget, better quality version of the Terminator.
Yeah. With a slightly, I think, better plot.
Yeah. The plot's, like... It's not too much of a change. Like, the original Terminator is now the good guy. Like but it's a clever spin on it instead of just like going back and doing another Terminator.
Right.
And one of the funny things is I haven't seen Terminator 3 since at the theater, I think. Mm-hmm. But when Jonathan Mostow did like all those nods back to Terminator 2, it was like such a bad choice because Terminator 2 is just a rehash of Terminator 1 with variances. So when they do gags that repeat from the first movie, they're not treated as silly. In the third one, say like when he goes into that bar again and gets like the clothes and the glasses, and this time they're like sparkly glasses. Like, like doing it a third time, it's just like such a poor choice.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again. I do think in the third one, I do love the scene where he's going downtown on the crane and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I think the action scene's pretty badass.
I genuinely think that Terminator 3 is really good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's stuff like that's shitty. I think,
it just turns. It's just like it. It's like also to me, it's like someone made a spoof of Terminator 2. Like it just turns Terminator 2 into a joke.
I
don't remember it very well. I have it. I should watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say some shit that is blasphemous in certain communities like this one, but I think that Terminator 2's plot is messy, and that Terminator 3 plugs some of its holes. As far as the way that the time stuff works in Terminator 2,
it's already a paradox. Like even
no,
in the first one, so like
it
doesn't get much messier than that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's a pretty straightforward paradox. It's a very straightforward loop, where Terminator 2 gets messy. And I love Terminator 3's ending. I don't
remember it.
They accept that this is actually going to happen.
Yeah,
they stop fighting Judgment Day, and I
just
thought that was super smart. Yeah, I mean, I don't. That movie's not like always brilliant. A lot of the stuff with the TX is really dumb, but it's certainly better than Terminator Salvation, which is a hot mess.
Yeah, I actually liked it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still have to watch the director's cut because
I haven't seen. I think the Terminator 2 theatrical cut in so long because the version I have is a Skynet edition.
That's true.
And so
so you have the extra long one.
Yeah. So I don't remember. I know there's more comedy with Schwarzenegger in it. So is the line where he says "I need a vacation" still in that one?
Yes.
Is that in the theatrical? I can never remember.
They showed
now.
the theatrical one, and when I went home, I was like, I want to watch the extended one, and then. Apparently, my edition, which is not the Skynet edition, is just the theatrical one.
Really?
So I wasn't able to double check
that's so
what was missing because I felt like I've seen the extended one before, so I was trying to remember what did I miss, but Yeah, I ordered the anthology because it's $20 on Amazon, so I'll be watching the whole series pretty soon.
Yeah,
Cool.
I always have an itch because when I was at Target right now, they have Terminator 1 and 2 on Blu-ray for $5.
Yeah.
So
No, I get the anthology.
yeah, so I might get the anthology
for $20.
$20,
Yeah.
that's totally worth it. Just to check them out again because I do love the movies, and I think Terminator 2 is one of the best action movies ever.
And I want to check out 3 again because I haven't seen it in over a decade. And Salvation I liked, but I mean not enough to own right away. Also, I forgot in that huge, big screen seeing Terminator 2, you can totally see Robert Patrick's cock and balls.
Really?
What?
Yep. When he's naked and he appears as the T-1000 for the first time.
Yeah.
And he's kneeled down, like on the small screen. Obviously, I'm not trying to look to notice, but on the big screen where you can't really avoid most of the screen, yep, his junk is hanging down between his legs. Yep.
Man, I'll have to watch and see if I can check out his dick.
Wow. I think, just to be fair, I think part of why I don't like Terminator Salvation so much is because I think that McGee's original ideas for what that movie was going to be were really cool before Christian Bale got on that project and fucked it all up. So I think I'm sort of bitter in that what that movie could have been was so awesome that what it ended up being was.
I think it has that great scene. I love. It's pretty early when he jumps on the helicopter, and it's one long continuous shot of him on the helicopter and it crashing. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, the action scenes in that movie are great. They are. Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity. I have to watch it in a long time, but in the end, like going with the Dark Knight thing, where the John Connor can just be an idea.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like they totally missed that opportunity.
Yep.
It's like they just revived him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He should have just been another different guy.
I agree.
Or I think they should have cut off his face and made him a Terminator.
Yeah, I think they
Because-
should have cut off his face and put him on Sam Worthington and have and I think that is pretty much exactly what McG wanted. And that's why Christian Bale was going to be in the movie, but only a little bit, because the sequels where Christian Bale was a Terminator that looked like John Connor were then going to be Christian Bale. But when Christian Bale came on, he was like, "No, I want more scenes." And they added this whole subplot with Christian Bale and the submarine and all this shit that bogs that movie down. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's all I got. What do you got, James?
Oh, okay. Well, while we're talking about robot people, I didn't watch much this week because I have a PlayStation 4 and all I'm doing is playing Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
I'll get
Why don't you
back.
brag about it some more, man?
No. I feel bad. Like halfway through the week, I was like, "Fuck, I should watch something," but
It's all right.
anyway.
It's okay. I got a Wii U.
Yeah, you did.
So I did get a chance to watch Almost Human though. I've only seen the first episode though, and this is the show produced by J.J. Abrams, but it doesn't feel like
I
he's
said
got
almost semen. Totally didn't hear that right.
It's got
Almost.
Carl Urban in it, and it's set in the future, and it's a gritty, very Blade Runner inspired future. A lot of neon signs in the background and all that. Not quite as well executed. I would say it's more like a Total Recall, the remake. It comes across that way. But basically,
Hot chicks fighting,
Carl-
sweet.
yeah, it's not as good as that. Carl Urban plays a cop who gets his leg, like every character in a movie where there's a character who doesn't like future robots. He loses a limb and gets it replaced with a robot limb. And then he ends up, in this version of the future, every cop has a partner, and that partner is a robot. Just sort of to keep, A, to help them, and protect them, but also sort of to keep an eye on them and make sure that nobody's going crazy. But at this point, they've had a version of robots that are very human and have like emotions and stuff, but they had it, there were errors to that and they would freak out and kill people or whatever. And so now they've moved to one where they're very inhuman and, sure, they look human, but they don't act it. So he doesn't really like having, and he's been in a coma for 2 years. So he wakes up from being in a coma and they're going to force this robot partner on him. And there's all these like rebels or whatever, like these terrorists. They're doing some weird thing. And there is a really good scene where like his annoying robot is in the car with him, and he's just like, "Fuck, I don't want a robot partner." So he just opens the car door and pushes it out, and we get this really great CG shot of like the robot bouncing on the ground and then getting like tugged up underneath a car and just shredded. And you're like, it was totally unexpected. I really liked it. But the effect is that like the Bureau is out of all these super future robots, so they've got to pair him up with an older model, and the older model has emotions and acts human. And it's not bad. It's it's interesting. And if you want a sci-fi show, like, yeah, sure, give this a shot. My biggest fear here is that it's going to become very episodic. I think that's what they want it to be. I think they want a easy, cheap show that they can get people hooked on and just tell sort of cop stories in the future with this, like, wacky robot side character. I think Carl Urban is really good. I think he even though the character itself is sort of hackneyed and very iRobot, I think he makes it his own, and I could like that character. But it just comes off like it's been done before. I didn't feel like it was really bringing anything new. It never showed me anything where I was like, oh, this is cool. But I think it's probably better than like Continuum or some of the other sci-fi shows that have been on, and they've been really popular. So if you are into those shows, definitely check this one out.
People making it though too.
Say again?
Has cool people making it. So
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think it's shot really well. I think it looks cool. The design is neat. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. I think I'm gonna try to keep up with it at least for 5 or 6 episodes and just see if it goes anywhere. Because not every show. Hey, I'm still watching S.H.I.E.L.D. and I really like it right now. But that show had a rough first 4 or 5 episodes. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You said S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like the Michael Chiklis movie?
No. Yeah, sorry. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not my favorite title. So I never actually call it that.
Coulson Files.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's all right. I think people ought to check it out. It's certainly got potential. So
cool.
But that's everything I watched.
Sorry, I got one last thing I forgot to talk about in Terminator.
Of course you did.
I wanted to highlight a really badass moment that seemed even more badass than I remember.
Mm-hmm.
When they're getting chased down by the T-1000 in the liquid nitrogen truck, and they're in the little tiny pest control truck, and Arnold runs out of the grenade bullets, so he pulls out the M16, and then this is it's a CGI infused movie, but it's still more stunts than CGI.
Yeah.
So it's just this real stunt of this guy getting out of the driver's side of that little truck and climbing into the back of the bed, and then climbing up on top of the rig and just gunning down the T-1000 right through the window. While this guy is actually sitting on the hood.
Yeah, that's
that's a real stunt
because he's like, and you see the T-1000 getting annihilated,
getting blown away.
Yeah. Oh, I should watch that movie.
But that's a real stunt guy, riding on that. They're going like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
go stunt guys.
Totally. That's it, huh?
Yep, that's it.
Cool. So this week we saw The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. James, should people go see Hunger Games: Catching Fire?
Oh, he had to come to me first. So I did not like The Hunger Games, the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of silly stuff in it, and it, I don't hate it. It's just not my cup of tea. This one is substantially better. I would even go so far as to say it's a pretty good movie. It's still got some of that silly stuff in it, and it still pulls its punches. I think if the third act of this movie succeeded or pulled off what I think the first 2 acts promises, I would be sitting here saying this is a great movie. But I still think that when it comes down to really putting these characters in interesting and hard situations, the movie still pulls its punches, and that disappoints me. But I would say it's good enough that I'm probably going to tell my parents to suffer through the first movie so that they can check this one out, because I think it's pretty fun. I had a good time. I wasn't bored. And the first 2 acts, I actually genuinely was interested in what was going on. So yeah, it's not bad.
Brad?
Yes or no? You know what? There's a huge following for this movie, so my opinion really isn't going to matter much.
But think about it for like people who aren't already.
People are going to go see this anyway, no matter what I say, so it doesn't really matter. But
no, I mean there are people like my parents who wouldn't necessarily go out to see this unless they heard whether or not it was good or not.
I'd say it's a little bit more improved than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
They do things better, but overall, I was still rolling my eyes and at a lot of stuff. And I will get into it more, but I think it's almost the exact same movie except for the end. They hit a lot of the same beats again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. No, I'll tell you in a minute. Ryan?
Again, I'm the only one on this podcast that really enjoys these movies. I think the journey of Katniss is really interesting. I think the world they set up is interesting. I think Donald Sutherland as President Snow is a horrible person. I think it has nice little twists in the movie. I haven't read the books. I took my little niece. My little niece, Taylor, loves the books and loves the movies.
Well, she was a little disappointed. I guess they changed some stuff near the end.
The thing she changed. I was, when she was talking to me about them, it's the little nuances in books that they're always going to change in movies.
Yeah.
And the problem. And I try to. She's only 11, so I try to explain to her. I said, Taylor, sometimes the problem with making a book into a movie is they lose those little quirks in them. They lose. The thing she's disappointed the most is Finnick. His character is different in the book. He acts a little differently. And I said, yeah, maybe. And I told her too. I said, well, they're making part 3 into 2 parts, so they might be taking some of the things from the second book and kind of overlaying them into the third. Yeah,
it's funny. When I walked out of the Two Towers the first time, I was pissed.
Really?
Yep, I was really pissed. So I tried to sort of tell her that, where I was like, sometimes they, and even this morning when we talked to her, I asked her, I was like, so do you like the movie a little more this morning than you did last night? And she was like, yeah, sometimes when you're a fan of those books, it's hard the first time you see somebody adapt it. So.
I agree, and I'm more forgiving though. Even with Spider-Man and things like that.
Oh, me too.
But as long as they get the characters right, and I think Jennifer Lawrence is one of the best actresses we have right now. I think she does a really good job. Here's a trailer for Hunger Games. I think you should see it.
Was everything. You fought very hard in the arena, but they were games. Would you like to be in a real war?
Are you just going to do that? Remember when they were showing the teaser trailer, and the teaser trailer was literally the mocking J-Pin on fire?
Yeah.
And everyone was really excited.
Remember when this movie ends and there's a super masturbatory symbol turns into symbol, Aren't you excited? And I was like, really? But
the story takes place a little bit after, maybe a year after the first. Well, is it kind of?
I don't know. They're not real good at telling you.
Yeah,
I think it's almost a year.
I think it's almost a year, but time kind of goes by fast at the beginning.
Yeah,
just they're going a victory lap, and I think that's maybe a week before the next Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're on that train for a while. There's a lot of montage bits on that train,
but yeah. So they're going on a victory tour, and what Katniss discovers is she's actually created a rebellion against the Capitol, against people being oppressed by wealthy people, and it's not fair. And I thought the movie conveyed that really well. I think Jennifer Lawrence does a great job carrying these movies.
Yeah.
Because that scene. It's a little early on. They go to District 11, where that little girl from Rue died in the first one, and trying to protect Katniss, and she spoke up, and they did their kind of little peace sign or salute, thinking of you, and they pulled that one guy on stage and executed him.
It's a good scene.
It is,
and it was the moment where I was like, oh shit, like you heard what I said about the first movie, and you are going to actually
they did.
I think the
producers are listening to Real Nerds podcast, and they're saying that James brings up some good points.
But I was genuinely excited because I was like, oh man, you're going to actually put Katniss in some shit and make her make some tough choices, because that's a thing where like she is relatively responsible for that, and she knows it. As soon as it happens, she's like, fuck, I kind of made that happen. And that was really interesting.
And the movie is really interesting because it also takes what I love about the Katniss character is she knows what she needs to do to survive. And if it's hurting Peeta's feelings and just discarding him, it sounds cold, but she knows. And it's a really interesting character to play where, my little niece loves Peeta. She thinks he's so cute and he's so heroic. And,
his short little foot face.
Yeah. But, so you can see he plays a wounded guy in it. And it's just, I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie. Here's a scene from the movie, and you let me know what you think about it.
You two have a very simple task.
I never meant for anyone to get killed. He has to know that.
What are you talking about? Who has to know what?
Snow, he came to see me. He's worried about rebellion in the districts. He thinks that they don't believe our love story.
Katniss, you should have told me that before I went out there and tried to give these people their money.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do.
Katniss, what were you thinking?
Please, just help me get through this trip. Please, just help us get through this.
This trip, girl, wake up. This trip doesn't end when you get back home. You never get off this train. You two are mentors now. From now on, your job is to be a distraction, so people forget what the real problems are.
Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci, he really hams up his performance in it.
He's just chewing scenery. It's great to watch. I never didn't see Stanley Tucci, though. Like, I always was looking at him being like, Stanley Tucci, you're hilarious.
Yeah. Stanley Tucci's really funny. He plays comedy really well. He's really good in Easy A. If you haven't seen Easy A, you should see him.
He is, man. But yeah, like that scene, he even has a couple of actual interesting moments, like when Peeta's on stage and announces that Katniss is pregnant, which they totally just brush over. Brilliant moment.
Yeah,
like that
and it never amounts to anything.
Right? No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, they do that because there's they're trying to stop the Hunger Games from happening, and
I think
they just don't care.
I think it works plot wise because what it actually introduces us to, which this is where maybe my biggest issue with the movie comes from. What it actually leads us towards is this idea that all of the tributes that are, because the story here is that past tributes are going back into the Hunger Games. And it introduces us to the idea that they're all out there basically begging for the government to shut this down and to not do it, and trying to just really turn the people against wanting to see this Hunger Games because they like these people so much. And what's
I
cool,
guess they get special treatment because Jenna Mullen's character, she says all these anti-establishment things, but when the poor people in the streets do it, they get executed.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand that.
Well, because in this culture, they're sort of celebrities. So in the same way that when a celebrity kills somebody, they get this super long trial and it's on the news for forever, and they just get to run away to a different country.
But Katniss is the most the biggest celebrity, and Snow is a half step away from executing her.
Well, but she is specifically more dangerous.
Yeah,
than he is.
But also too, he knows if he executes her, then the rebellion is going to be way worse.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, there's this weird, the peasants, they get executed immediately, but they can even just say you guys suck, but on national TV, the tributes get to say it, but there's no quick recourse to it. They just plot we'll get them down the road.
Yeah.
I don't understand the difference, but
it's I think that's sort of what's interesting to me, at least, about that whole
that one guy
beginning sequence
in District 12. When Hamish stands up to quell that one general or whatever.
Yeah,
that guy was gonna have no problem just doing his own orders.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has the authority to just not even wait for Snow to make a decision. He can just do it himself.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean they don't get super into who has what kind of authority and all of that. I sort of took that as that guy feels like it's his job, and he doesn't necessarily care to go and ask the president whether it's okay, because he sees those people as being really dangerous, and he thinks that's really important for his, like, whatever his motivations are. I actually really liked that actor, by the way. His performance, like when he's screaming to those people, I was like, it's good. I think my biggest problem is that we get all of this really interesting, like, political stuff beforehand, and there's this rebellion going on, and I do like Katniss as this very wounded, like, Vietnam vet,
post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, PTSD character who really doesn't want to go back, and she's afraid to go back. And then there's all these people that are they're motivated to not want to participate in this thing, and you kind of get the idea that, like, they themselves are going to rebel inside of this Hunger Games in the third act. But what actually happens is not that Katniss actually does anything. For the second movie in a row, the world happens around Katniss, and she sort of avoids ever making any real choices or really doing anything to affect her own fate. She has very little agency in what happens. Basically, people use her as a pawn because she's a symbol, and that makes her, to me, a less interesting character. Whereas what I really would want is, you're setting up this world where, okay, when these people become allies and friends, like, eventually they're the only ones left, and they're going to have to kill each other off, or decide to do something better. And it would have been really great, and what an awesome opportunity to have that be the thing where everybody else feels helpless in this situation, and when she gets down to it where she has to make this choice, she's the one who decides to do something different, decides to change this society in a smart way. But that's not what happens. Like,
didn't she do that at the end of the movie?
How did she do that? Like, she shoots
shot
that
the
arrow into
arrow.
the sky? No, because what we end up finding out is that it was always the plan to get her out, and immediately after she does that, a plane comes and picks her up, and they've got this whole other big plan, and, like, even with that, like, that just, I don't see that as, like, a plan.
I kind of disagree, though, because one of your issues with the first one is you said she never did anything. Remember, at the beginning of this Hunger Games, she was shooting people with her arrow. She was killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, when it started, and she actually did kill some people, which, I mean, did she actually kill any?
Yeah.
She shoots the one guy in the leg.
Then when they got back on the
cornucopia,
she shot that one dude in the throat.
Yeah, you're right. And I was happy about that. I was like, yeah, fine, good, kill some kids. We need that. There have to be stakes here. But like I said, this movie is definitely better than the first one.
I think it's shot way better.
I do too.
I think maybe I still like the first one a lot. I mean, I think it was number 10 in my movies last year. I think it's still fun. I think the first one was actually hindered because I don't think it had a very big budget, and I think Gary Ross, when he shot it, that's why he's a little more shaky, a little more close-ups. And this one, Francis Lawrence had the ability to. He's going to show this world. He's going to show it breathe, and the sets look different. I actually, and I really loved Elizabeth Banks' character in this one, because before she was kind of just oh, it's so great and beautiful, and then you find out she actually kind of cares for these people, and she thinks they're getting a raw deal too. And I think why this movie is successful too is because it shows that what Katniss made that decision in the first one, that she's going to kill herself because she'd rather kill herself than have to kill her best friend. I think it changed everybody's opinion about it, and it changed. And I love seeing the difference in the character. And every character in the movie is different because of Katniss. And I think it's a really cool message that the movie delivered.
Yeah, and I think that every character in this movie is just better written than they were in the first one. I think that even down to, like, Lenny Kravitz's character, there is more emotional grounding in that, and I sort of understood that character more than I did in the first one. When in the first one was just like, oh, here's this weird stuff going on. And part of that is just that this movie doesn't have to introduce you to things.
Yeah.
It is blessed with that. So instead of having to introduce us to this world, you can instead have these what I thought were genuinely really interesting sequences where she's going on this tour, and on one hand trying not to start an uprising, and on the other hand inadvertently starting one.
And I think she realizes that she has no choice. She's like the uprising is going to happen with her or without her.
Yeah,
and she might as well embrace the leadership. And that's what happens at the end is when she finds out, spoilers, that PETA didn't make it out with her and that they only saved her. She has a look on her face like, what the fuck? You guys all lied to me.
Yeah.
But now she has to fight, and I'm looking forward to the showdown with President Snow.
I still think that the romantic triangle thing is pretty shitty.
See, I don't care about that stuff. I care more about because again, and what I do like the Katniss character is she's not defined by the relationships she's in, where Bella from Twilight is, I can't be anything without Edward.
Yeah.
Katniss fights for her relationships with Gale and for her mom and her sister.
Yeah.
I think that's different than you're fighting your urges not to cry because your boyfriend's a vampire and won't sleep with you because his dick is made of rock and it'll hurt her so bad or whatever the fuck those stories are trying to convey.
Nope. You had it. That's what that movie's about.
Right?
Yep.
So yeah, I might be more forgiving. Like I like the movies a lot. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they're really well done. But you know what? That's why we have a pod show, and that's why everybody has a different opinion.
Podcast.
We do have a pod show too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, as many problems as I have with this movie, I do think it was fun, and I do think that certainly if you like the first one, you got to check this one out because it's way better. It's also the silly shit is way better. So like the fire dress, the CG looks more like actual fire. It doesn't, the fire doesn't move like it has its own mind to it. The bird dress is silly, but whatever. The animals and stuff in the
they look pretty good.
They look all right, but they're at least more believable and less just wonky. Like in the last episode of the movie,
scared Taylor. She was really scared of those.
Hey,
those
yeah,
monkeys.
that jump with the monkey. When the monkey comes at PETA, I was like, whoa, I mean, it's a jump effect, whatever. But I think they just do a better job at taming down the maybe in the book they explain that those monkeys spit acid and they got like crazy whatever disease mouth. Fine,
all right then. That was my Nedry. Remember when he's crawling back up from the and the what's the acid spitting dinosaur's name? Dilophosaurus.
Yeah. But they don't waste our time telling us that stuff because we don't need to know. Still weird, the whole clock thing. I'm just like, why? But whatever. That's the story.
It's a game.
And that's the thing. Like in this one, that works. But I bought that more. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like a big board game. Okay, sure. Whereas if they cut away and were like, they're crazy super bees, I'd be like, why are you killing the momentum? So, yeah.
Brad, anything else?
I introduced before. It's to me it was like almost the same movie. Like aside from, is it longer this one?
I think so. It feels
it's definitely longer.
Yeah. So they had a few things with like the whole victory tour, but again, like they're back on a train. Another round of selections for this Hunger Games thing. They go through the whole fire dress chariot thing again.
Yeah.
Instead of dogs, it's monkeys that they're fighting in the woods. Instead of the woods burning down and being on fire, it's poison gas.
Yeah.
And then it was like it had some cool stuff like PETA being smart and trying to like stall the Hunger Games with the whole pregnancy thing. Like that was a cool twist, but then it didn't really amount to much. It didn't solve their problems.
Yeah.
And then Katniss shooting the lightning, like taking the lightning and shooting the arrow to like destroy the force field was clever, but again, they already had that plan to come and get her, so
yeah.
Didn't really amount to much, but yeah, and then it has like an Empire Strikes Back ending, which is kind of nice. But the whole last shot of her like looking at the camera and being like, like you can see it in her eyes that shit's on now.
Yeah,
things have changed, and then the CLS it's cheesy.
It's a little,
and of course all the love triangle stuff. I'm just like, oh god, shut up.
I agree. I agree with you that beat for beat it is the same movie.
Yeah,
I absolutely 100% agree. I just think that it is a much better executed version of those beats.
And she has a better house now with apparently like a green screen room where they can make like broadcasts.
Oh yeah, well, because she's supposed to be kind of like super rich, kind of like super rich.
Yeah, she won money, and they put him in like the housing division's called Victory Lane. And
it seems like it's not even it's super rich the way that if you win the lottery and you decide to get it in installments rather than one lump sum.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that kind of super rich where it's like I'm always taken care of, but I don't have a lot of money at once. You know. Yeah. So.
I like obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman didn't like ad-lib this line, but when they're at that a party and he called it appalling, you know, considering like how they do have like cool like they shine a spotlight on decadence and how ridiculous this world is.
Yeah.
So this one does feel a little bit more mature about the material they're handling, but again, like I just said, like it hits the same beats. It's almost the same movie. So hopefully there's something different in the third one.
I was really disappointed that Philip Seymour Hoffman, real spoilers here, was not actually a villain.
Really?
Because I didn't know going in. Yeah. I really wanted him to be like Mission Impossible 3 villain because I was like, man, especially
what
in
are we
that
gonna
first...
do about Katniss? I'm gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill her family.
See, isn't that cool? Like especially in that first act when he was just on the outskirts and we didn't know what was going on with him. I was like, oh man, this movie
does have a way of being really sinister.
Yeah,
in the way he delivers lines.
And if it had delivered that in the third act, I mean, obviously that's not where they wanted to go, and hopefully that character is really going to build to something cool, and that's why they got him to do it. Because I feel like I haven't seen him in a while.
What is the last thing he did?
Like big budget commercially?
Anything.
Well, he was a bad guy in another movie recently. No, maybe not a bad guy.
But like if it had delivered that in that third act, I think I would have been in heaven, and it wouldn't have mattered what silly stuff he was doing because he would have just stolen every scene that he was in. So,
I figured because of that first scene when they're at the party, like I think that was setting up to. It was like a giveaway that he was probably going to be one of the good guys by the end, and especially when he walks out of the room and says like, "Yeah, you take over, Mr. Like, enjoy the show, Mr. Snow."
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
then I knew for
clearly
sure.
his escape.
Yeah, I think I was probably just blinded by my sincere hope that he was going to be a great villain.
Was he in The Master?
I wasn't.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's in The Master.
Was that the last thing he did?
I think so.
It's the last big thing he did. There's a couple.
James is looking up right now. So
Yeah,
we're stalling.
Moneyball, The Master, and that's it. Yep. Well, there's a movie called The Late Quartet.
He's in
that I don't
Moneyball.
remember.
He's great in Moneyball.
Oh yeah, he's great in Moneyball. Kind of a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
There you go. That's what's great about this
How much fun I
this
had.
podcast is we go and see movies, and you never know if you're gonna like them. Mm-hmm. What are we seeing next week, guys? There's a few movies that are coming out. I don't remember which one we're seeing though.
Oh shit!
Because it's
is
Thanksgiving
Delivery Man?
week, so there's 2 or 3 of them. So
Isn't
hey,
it Inside Llewyn Davis?
no, that's December 6th, James.
Okay, shit.
See, I know that.
Fuck. Why is it so far away?
Why can't it be Anchorman 2? Come on,
Oh, no
Anchorman
doubt.
2.
It's almost a month away though.
That's Christmas
Old
Day,
Boy.
right?
I think the 20th.
Oh, Old Boy?
Next week is probably Old Boy because I don't think Mandela.
Oh no, Homefront, dude! I still want to see Homefront with Statham and Franco. Fucking A.
I want to see it.
I think it looks better than which one did you say?
Old Boy.
Old Boy.
I think that we're supposed to see Old Boy.
Brad, what do you want to see? Old Boy or Homefront?
I mean, I've seen the original Old Boy, so I would like to compare them, but I'm not excited about either, really.
I don't like Old Boy, but I think we are supposed to see Old Boy.
Why are we
I think
supposed to?
the fans would want
Yeah.
to know more about Old Boy.
Yeah,
than
I think that
Homefront.
one makes for a more interesting conversation.
Man, that means I have to support Spike Lee though.
Yeah,
You saw
I know.
Inside Man, you're already on the hook.
Dude, I gave him money for Miracle at St. Anna. Like it can't be worse than that. Oh, knock on something.
All
So
right, guys.
Maybe we'll see both. I don't know.
yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
It is
You know what?
Thanksgiving,
I'm not
so
doing
I got
anything on
Friday off.
Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll go see it on Thanksgiving. Oh, you have Friday off? I don't, because I fucking
Oh.
work in a restaurant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bullshit.
I'm sorry.
Thursday and Friday off.
Or
It's great.
hold on. Black Nativity.
Oh yeah.
Straight up.
Is Frozen? Oh no, that's limited, isn't it?
Maybe we'll ask Bree what he wants to see.
Even better would be like.
Ivan's coming by next week, right?
Yeah, he is. If Mandela were a wide release, I would say that, but yeah.
All right,
cool.
Guess it's Old Boy.
Tune in next week and we'll figure it out.
No, you guys already told me it's Old Boy, no matter what. So
no.
I guess fuck you guys. I guess we're seeing Old Boy,
and Ivan will be here.
And when the white characters in Old Boy go, and then
they're all white characters in Old Boy.
I doubt it. I'm sure. The Riz is old wise master teacher. Remember he was at RZA.
G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Oh yeah, G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Oh man,
maybe that was.
Remember that was this year.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Sheesh. All right.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.
Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find him on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.